to my channel. My name is Soumya. In today's video, I'll be doing this lab, cloud monitoring. So this is a 50 minutes lab. Within this time frame, you need to complete all of these tasks. So there are 7 tasks in this lab. So let's go through the overview. Using cloud monitoring, you will get the visibility into the performance, uptime, and overall health of the cloud resources. In cloud monitoring, we can generate insights via dashboards. Using cloud monitoring, we can make use of dashboard to get the visualization about all the applications. So in this hands-on lab, we will be monitoring a compute engine virtual machine instance with cloud monitoring. We will install monitoring and logging agents for the VM, which will collect information from the instance, and this can include metrics and logs about this instance. So let's proceed with this lab. So let's click on Start Lab. So once you click on this Start Lab, this timer will start running. Ensure that you complete your lab within this time frame. So let's click on Open Google Cloud Console and log in with the student username and password. I have logged into the Google Cloud Console. So let's go back to the lab to setup and requirements. So in setup and requirements, it explains how you can start this lab. So let's set the region and zone. So let's execute these commands. So using this command, we'll be setting the zone and region to US Central 1. So let's copy this command and go back to our Google Cloud Console. Let's activate the Cloud Shell. Let's open this in a new window. Now the Cloud Shell is activated. We can execute this command. So here we are setting the zone and region to US Central 1. Now the configuration is updated. We can go back to our lab. In task 1, we'll be creating a compute engine instance. So let's go back to our Google Cloud Console. Click on compute engine. So let's create an instance here. Click on create instance. Copy the name of this instance. So we need to create an instance by this name. So copy the instance name. And the region and zone should be this, US Central 1, US Central. So here under machine configuration, you need to select general purpose, series E2. And under machine type, it should be E2 medium. So this E2 medium will be 2 vCPU, 1 core and 4 GB memory. Scroll down under boot disk, the image should be Debian Linux 11 Bullseye. So identity and API access, we will allow default access. Under firewall, you need to ensure that you check this box for allow HTTP traffic. Once that is done, you can click on create. This will create a VM instance. Now the VM instance is created. So let's go back to our lab here. Once that is done, you can click on check my progress and this should be complete now. Let's proceed with the task 2. In task 2, we'll be installing Apache HTTP server on the instance. So to install this Apache HTTP server on the instance, we need to SSH to that instance. So let's SSH to this instance. So now we have logged into this VM instance. Once we log into the VM instance, so we need to update the packages by executing this some command sudo apt-get update. So let's copy this command, execute it here. So this will update the packages which is required for installing Apache HTTP server. So once that is done, install this by executing sudo apt-get install Apache 2. So we will be installing Apache 2 HTTP Webserver. Execute this command. So here it will ask for the prompt. You need to provide it as yes. So now this process is complete. It has installed Apache HTTP server. So let's go back. So once that is done, we need to start the service Apache 2. So to do that, we need to execute this sudo service Apache 2 restart. So this will restart the Apache 2 service. So let's copy this command. To check the status of this service, you can run this command status. So here you can see the status of the service is running. So once that is done, you can click on check my progress. This should be complete now. So to verify this, let's go back to our VM. Here you can click on external IP. So once you click on that external IP, you should get this Apache A default page. Since we have installed Apache HTTP server, we should get this page. So let's go back. So you can click on check my progress now. Once that is done, let's create a monitoring metric scope. To configure monitoring, we need to install monitoring and logging agents. So let's start with this. So here, under search, we can search for this monitoring. This is the one, monitoring, infrastructure and application monitoring. Here you can see these are the steps. We need to install an agent. Next, we need to create a dashboard. After that, we need to create an uptime check. Finally, we have to create an alert. So all these steps we will be performing as part of this lab. So the cloud monitoring agent is nothing but it is a collection based daemon that gathers all the system and application related metrics from virtual machine instance and sends them to the monitoring. By default, this monitoring agent collects disk, CPU usage, network and process metrics, and it displays all those information in a dashboard. So in this part, we will be installing the cloud logging agent to stream logs from the VM instance to the cloud logging. So we will be running this monitoring agent install script in the SSH terminal of the VM instance to install this cloud monitoring agent. So using this curl, we will download this script which is required to install the monitoring agent. So let's copy this command, and you have to ensure that you execute this on your VM instance. If I do ls, so this is a one. So we have downloaded this script from using the curl. So once that is done, we need to execute this command sudo bash. So as a sudo user, we are installing this monitoring agent. So let's copy this command, execute it here. So now you can see it's installing that monitoring agent on this VM instance. So this is very much required to set up the monitoring this VM instance. Now the installation is successful. So you should get this message. Let's go back. Next, we will install the cloud logging agent by executing this command sudo systemctl status. So this command we will execute. So let's copy this. I will clear this screen. Execute this command here. To exit out of this, type Q. So you will be back to your console. Let me clear this screen. So let's run this sudo apt-get update and again update these packages. You should get this done status. So let's go back. In task 3, we will create an uptime check. This is complete. Next, we need to create an uptime check here. Under monitoring dashboard only, you will have this uptime check. So click on uptime check. Here, click on create uptime check. So the protocol will be HTTP. So there are 3 protocols here, but in this lab, we'll be using this HTTP protocol, and the resource type will be instance. Since we are creating this more uptime check for our instance, we have to ensure that under resource type, we select this instance and scroll down. Here under instance, you need to select the instance which you had created. Check frequency will be 1 minute. Let's continue. So under response validation, we will leave whatever default it has taken. We will leave all this default as is, and we will continue. This also under alert and notification, this we will leave it as default. Let's continue. For title, we need to give this name. So let's copy this name, go back and enter here. So once you have updated all this, click on test. So you should get this 200 OK response. So once you get this response, click on create. So this will create an uptime check. Now we have created an uptime check. Let's create an alerting. Click on create policy here. So here under select a metric, so you have to uncheck this, show only active resources and metrics. So once you uncheck this, under filter by resource, you need to type that. Then you need to click on VM instance, click on interface, then click on network traffic. Other fields we will leave it as is. So whatever default value it has taken, we will leave it as is. Click on next. Under configure alert trigger, condition type will be threshold, and threshold position will be above threshold, and threshold value here you need to set it to 500. Next, click on this advanced option. So retest window, it will be 1 minute. So once this is done, click on next. Under notification channel, click on this drop down. Click on this manage notification channel. We need to create a notification channel here. You have to scroll down. So there are many notification channels available here. We will be adding this email. So click on add new. Here provide your personal email ID. So I'll be providing this personal email address, and the display name also you can set. Infra notification you can set. Click on save. So once this is done, we can go back. You can refresh this notification channel. Now it should list. So select the notification channel which we have created just now. Click on OK. We will leave this as default. Here under documentation, we can add some text which has to be included in the email field. Next, we need to name this alerting policy. We will name this alert policy as inbound traffic alert. So let's copy this. Go back. So here you have to provide that name. Next, click on next. So this alert policy name is inbound traffic alert, and we have set a notification channel here. The channel type is email. Under documentation, you can include the message which has to be included in this alerting mail. I didn't add any message there. That's why it is showing it as blank. And this is the configuration which I have set. It will trigger when this specific threshold is reached. Review this and you can click on create policy. Now it's created. We can go back. You can click on check my progress, and this should be complete now. So let's proceed with the task 5, create a dashboard and chart. Next we will be creating a dashboard so that we can get the visualization about these metrics. Let's go to this monitoring page. So under monitoring page only there is a dashboard field here. So click on this dashboard. Here let's click on create dashboard. We need to name this dashboard as Cloud Monitoring LAMP Quick Start Dashboard. So let's name this dashboard. Next, let's add a widget to this. We'll select the line. So you need to select the line option in the chart library. Next, name the chart title to CPU load. So let's copy this, CPU load. So widget title, you need to paste that. Widget type is line chart, widget title is CPU load. Next, we need to select the metrics. So we need to type this CPU load 1M. Here under metric type, you need to disable this. Once you disable this, under filter by resource, you need to type that. Here you need to click on VM instance, CPU load 1M. Click on apply. So once that is done, so we will click on apply. So that widget will be added to this dashboard. Now it has added this. So we'll add one more widget here. You can click on these 3 dots here and click on add widget. Again, we will be adding the second chart. Again, it will be a line option. We will be naming this chart as received packets. So let's copy this. Let's select this visualization as line and widget title will be received packets. Next, under metrics, uncheck this and filter by resource, it will be received packets. Select the VM instance. Select the instance, click on received packets, click on apply. All other fields we will leave it as default. So this way you have to configure it. So let's go back to our widget. So let's click on apply. Now you can see we have added 2 widgets, CPU load and received packets. So this is how it looks like in the dashboard. So let's go back. We have completed task 5. Let's proceed with the task 6, view your logs. So we need to view our logs, right? So let's go back. Here under search, you can type logging. So you can click on this logs dashboard. You need to go to logs explorer here. Click on logs explorer. So under log explorer, under log fields, we will be selecting the VM instance. Since we will be checking the log for our VM instance, we have to select that. Then scroll down, select your instance ID here. So my instance ID is this lamp-1-v. So I have selected that. So once you select that, you need to click on stream logs. Now you see the logs are getting generated for this instance. So this way it should stream the log for your instance. So let's go back. So this is how you do it. Next we will check what happens to our VM instance if we stop and start it. So let's go back. So we will duplicate this tab. Let's go to our VM instance. Let's go to compute engine. This is a VM instance. So let's stop this instance. So it's stopping this VM instance. Let's go to a logs explorer. We'll see if this has been picked up and if we get the logs for the same. So here you can see there is an information available here. VM compute instance stop. So this command has been issued. So it's stopping this and the stop is successful. VM instance is shut down. So let's go back. Here you can see the status is stopped. So let's restart this. Go back to logs explorer. Here you can see it's getting a message. So the instance is getting started. So that you are getting here. As part of task 7, we need to check the uptime check results and triggered alerts. So let's go back here. So we have checked this. Under logs explorer, we have checked how the logs gets generated when the VM instance is stopped and restarted. So now let's check the uptime check. For that, we need to go to this monitoring page. Let's click on this monitoring. Here we need to check the uptime checks. So let's click on uptime checks here. As you can see here, there was an issue. So since we have restarted the instance, it is still taking some time for the changes to be propagated. So let's refresh this page. Let's go to alerting here. In alerting, you can see there are 2 incidents got fired. So these are the 2 incidents. So 2 incidents got created for that. Under incident summary, you can find the summary of this and uptime check on this. So you can click on this incident summary and you can find the details about this incident. So when it happened and the status of this incident. So you can also click on view logs. So when you click on the view logs, it will take you to the logging page here. Here you can check the logs. Now the status of this instance is running. So let's go back here again under uptime check. Now you can see it is slowly coming up. So now in Asia Pacific it is showing it as green. So it will take some more time for all this to appear green. See, this is the error, connection error, host unreachable, because we made that instance down. That's why we are getting this error. Now we can see all checks are passing in all the zones and the instance is healthy. So in this lab we learned how to set up a monitoring and alerting in GCP. So once you complete all of this task in this lab, you will get this 100 out of 100 score. Then you can click on end lab. If you found my video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel and stay up to date with the latest content on this channel. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next video.